Hey, Josh with CryoHeat, and I'm here with a friend of mine for 7 years.
Yeah, probably around
7
7 years.
years. This is Felix Bergeron from Alberta, Canada, and he does not race off-road. This is, let's wind this all the way back to about 7 years ago. I think it was more picking my mind at first
Yeah.
and then going, holy shit, you can do that too. You can do this and that. And then I don't know. I sold an Eskimo some freaking really cold treatment that you guys already live in the cold, but what we do here is way colder. And I sold you guys Cryogenics, and 7 years later, great success. You guys are sitting on the couch. This young man is part of a team of racing a beautiful boat. It's a jet boat. It's powered by a turbine engine, and they do some really wild river racing. He's going to explain it to you in a second. But I'm just like flashing back at some of the photos and some of the videos I've seen, and it's like, why have I not gone to one of these races yet? This is so awesome. Yeah, jet boat racing at its finest. So, Felix, let the audience know about the association that you're with
Yep.
and where some of these races are in the world that you guys race. And then let's talk about your boat and this beautiful green screen. We'll be able to show some amazing photos and some video footage. Would be
Cool.
rad.
Yeah, so I'm part of an organization. Well, it's Jet Boat Racing Canada. I've been part of the organization for it hasn't always been Jet Boat Racing Canada, but it's new now. Jet Boat Racing Canada. If you want to look it up online, that's what you look for. And I've been in the racing scene. Jet boat since 2003 was my first race, and then I've evolved into this. So turbines have been used in the race boats probably since maybe only 10 years, let's say 15 years maybe. And the first guy to put one in a jet boat was actually a guy from California here, from
Hmm.
Gold Beach, a guy by the name of Tim Harding. And when this thing showed up on in the unlimited class, everybody was like, "What is this?" Right? And it was at the time they were pushing about 1,300 horsepower, and out of these turbines. These engines came out of the Sea Knight helicopters, the Marines.
Okay.
They were decommissioning these engines, and then they became available, and they're going up to bigger engines. So when these engines became available and they started showing some success in the race boats, there was problems with gearboxes, problems with jet pumps, because these jet pumps were designed to hold 500 horsepower,
Yeah.
not 1,300 horsepower.
Yeah.
And the racing we do is like long legs. We race up to, some legs are 70 miles, so it takes us 25 to 30 minutes to do this leg, and then we're pushing the boat at 80 to 100% throttle
Yeah.
for all that long period of time. It's not like drag racing where it's only a few seconds, right?
Right.
So the stress on the pump and on the components is huge.
Just consistent.
Yeah. So these guys started modifying these turbine engines, and they're pushing like 1,800 horsepower out of them now, and the gearboxes weren't holding together anymore. And I've always been somebody to think outside the box, and I love motorsports, and you showed up on my feed somehow. It must have been just the way the stars lined up, and
Yeah.
I started seeing what you guys were doing, and I'm like, okay, there's potential for us to do something here to help with our failures, right? And I didn't realize you guys could do bearings and the all materials, and so it was basically an evolution. And now, absolutely, I sold the guy that owns the race boat, the team. At first, when we did our first gear set, because the gear sets are very expensive, it took me some convincing to tell him, okay, listen, this guy's not going to wreck
Very expensive.
Yeah, he's not going to wreck our equipment. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you,
Yeah.
this is legit. It's not, hocus pocus.
Yeah.
He's like, are you sure? Like, we can't, he was, because he didn't know. He wasn't. He's not an engineer or a metal guy. He wanted to make sure it wasn't going to hurt his system, right?
Yeah.
So, and once those things came back and we ran them and took it apart again and to show, I mean, the gear set is like it was when it came out of your shop. There's no metal wear. We never made a fleck of metal.
Yeah, and you said, so how long do the gearboxes usually last?
You're lucky to get a season, and a season is about 600 miles.
Okay.
Like,
And then
And they was like Russian roulette with these gearboxes. You'd get it back from the guy that's overhauling them.
yeah.
Some would last an hour, and then some would last a whole season. But minimum, you had to change. You had to put bearings and gears usually every season. And
And this is not Chinese metal.
no, these are
These are
like
custom
custom
billet.
built. Yeah,
What's the material? Do you remember what they are?
300M. Most of
Okay.
the shafts and gears are 300M.
Yeah.
Some other guys are using, some other.
Some
They don't
chromoly
tell you.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an alloy. 300M seems to be the most readily available and strongest material for
Yeah.
gears and shafts that we've found. And so yeah, now after 1,500 miles, we take this gearbox apart and it's like glass, right? Like the gears are beautiful. We have a clear view oil filter that we run
Mm.
in the boat. So you can see between legs because we do like a 20-mile run or a 30-mile run or an 80-mile run, whatever.
Yeah.
And we have an hour or two break to go through the boat. And so we look through the clear view filter, which is an oil filter. It's kind of like the old Obergs. It has a screen in it,
Yep.
and it has a half-inch thick plexiglass, and you give it air, and it pushes all the oil out of it. And if there's any kind of debris or any kind of metal,
You can see it.
you can see it. It
That's
stays
cool.
onto the
Yeah.
filter, right? So
Yeah.
we're always inspecting that, and that gearbox has never made any metal.
And
in
how much
1,500
time do you
miles.
think you have on those gear set that I did for you 6 or 7 years ago?
Probably close to 1,800 miles, I would say, like 3 seasons
Yeah,
would
it's
be.
rad.
Yeah, because we've
Yeah.
done a lot of testing before we
Yeah.
want to race. And so yeah, the quality of your work is impeccable. And I mean, so
Thank
this
you.
gear set that the first gear set you built us, we brought back to the company that manufactured it, and we said we need another gear set. We want to change ratios.
Mhm.
He's like, "What did you do to this thing? Like, what kind of coating is on there?" I was like, "That's not a
Not a
coat.
coating,
That's
man.
not a coating." He's like, "What?" I said, "That's not a coating. It's metal treatment. It's a micro polish." And they were just like flabbergasted. Right?
Yeah.
So this new set that we brought to you last week.
Now hold on. That's the machinist that I actually talked to on the phone the other
Correct.
day. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Super good guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy. I
Yeah.
did a little background check on him
Okay.
before I even called them, and
Yeah.
and I've seen some of their stuff, and it's like they're one of the elite, legit
Yeah, they
gear
are.
companies.
Yeah. So they bought another company now. So one of the guys, I think there's 2 or 3 partners, and they bought a company now and I don't know if he told you that or not, but
No, he didn't.
I want to say I don't know, somewhere out east here, like in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe Illinois. Anyway, they bought another manufacturing business here, so that might be better for you
Yeah.
to skip the border crossing right now for
Yeah.
now,
Exactly.
until maybe we become
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
51st.
Well, we'll do a little background check on that
Yeah.
and get some information from those guys for sure.
But yeah, so that gear set we got from them, again, super sharp. I guarantee you, if we didn't do this treatment that we did and we put it in the gearbox, went and ran it, it would be making metal. There's no way, because the gears
Yeah.
are so sharp and they've just been machined, and like to them it's fine, just run it. But
Yeah.
for us, I don't think, now that they'd come out of your treatment, they're like glass again, just like the old set, and we won't
Yeah.
be seeing any metal.
I remember we did quite a few CV joints
Yes,
for your
absolutely. For our
drivetrain.
drive lines as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Yeah, drive lines are taking a beating, and
Yeah.
yeah. So you did all our CVs, you did a bunch of impellers for us. You're gonna see a bunch of impellers from us again this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our bearings.
We've cryoheat processed not just the impellers. We cryoheat processed and polished.
Correct. Yeah.
And and like you were to asking, well, what else can we do? And I said, well, like the government jobs, we do double passes.
Yeah.
So we, on some of your stuff, that we're doing double passes and
Absolutely.
making them, the first pass that we do, we're cleaning up that molecular microscopic material. I'm sorry, my brain is like still foggy, but we're cleaning it up about 92 to 95%.
Okay.
And that second pass, we just get that extra little bit and get as close. I mean, 100% would be incredible.
Yeah.
You'd have something that would almost never wear out.
Right.
But we're getting it to like 97, 98%, and that's massive. Even though it's such a small little number, I think maybe I've told you this years ago, but some of my scientific studies, as I just took a crankshaft from a Ford diesel pickup truck,
Okay.
and then I tokened out of one of the webs and had it polished, sent it in, and then through the machine we checked it, how many stress fractures are on that surface, and we did a couple layers found the average, and then figured out in 1 cubic inch, there's like 990,000, from 990,000 to about 1.1 million stress fractures in that cubic inch in that crankshaft.
Wow.
That's normal material.
Right.
So my process, the microscopic stress fractures and fissures, I'm removing 90-95% of that. It's enormous. And
Yeah.
that's why you guys are having the success that you're
Right.
doing.
Right.
You know, apples to apples, same gears, possibly the same material, and someone's getting one third or just almost one half of what you guys are getting.
Right.
That's phenomenal, especially compared to the price of what that product cost.
Correct.
Not to mention, uh, breaking in a race. All of my off-roader guys know, like,
Right.
that one $5 bolt in $1 million trophy truck while you're racing the Baja 1000
It's game over.
is game over, and
Yeah.
it's the shittiest feeling ever to
Yeah.
lose a race because of freaking $10 or $5 part.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to have that. So when you say, like, we've double treated some of our products with you, have you found, and this might be more than you're willing to divulge, but is it better to do like a double cycle than like a longer first cycle?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
important to
Yeah,
cycle
it
that
is.
through. Okay.
There's a lot of proprietary steps in between these cycles,
Okay.
but cycling it 2 times is better than just a longer
Extending it.
cycle.
Okay, that
And
makes
our
sense.
cycles are already, like, there are a couple other cryogenic companies out there,
Right.
but they're not CryoHeat. What we do here, just for our motorsport stuff alone, it's like an 80-hour long
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Where some companies, and I've done testing on some of these companies. I come in as Joe Blow and I pay money and I want them to process, and I cut that part in half and I look at their work and go, well, that's what a 12-hour process will do for you. That's what a
Right.
24-hour process will do for you. You're not getting the percentages that we
Yeah.
crush over here.
Yeah, so we've bought some of our drive lines we're buying from a manufacturer, and he says, "Well, we're already doing this." I said, "I don't care." I said, "Send them to Josh.
Yeah.
He's gonna do them again."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Why? We're already doing this." I says, "I'm not arguing with you." I says, "Can you just please ship them direct so that we
Yeah.
can, And we've had this was the drive
Yeah.
lines, right? And yeah, because I just truly believe that in your product, in your process has
Yeah.
been
Thank you.
it's been
Yeah.
amazing.
You
Yeah,
take a lot of pride over here,
yeah, you do.
and you flew out here from Canada
Yeah,
because of a time frame, but also the expense of these gears. My God,
yeah.
if they were to get damaged or go missing, like, you guys would be out for this
We
race.
are, yeah. We're not getting another set.
Yeah,
We could run our old set, but then that kind of puts us
yeah,
back in our program because this new set should give us a little bit of a leg up here
yeah,
and help us out. So and the insurance is kind of prohibitive. So to insure this part for the price, let's say they did lose it, so we'd have insurance. Insurance is the same as my flights. So to me,
yeah.
yeah, no brainer. I just fly out
Exactly.
here. Plus, I get to see you again and hang out. And
That's right. That's right.
I'd been here before, but I'd never really looked at your machines and the equipment. And now,
Yeah,
Kenny showed me a few things, and
yeah,
it's nice to see your part come out of the vibrator, and
yeah,
to actually see the process. And okay, that's why it takes 80 hours, because it's not like you guys aren't doing nothing in these parts. Like
yeah,
there is a process, and it takes time, right?
yeah.
You have to wait for it.
And that is the cool thing. Like, you flew out here with two Pelican cases
Yeah,
with these two gears, and you've been here. What did you get here last Wednesday?
yeah. Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. So
Yep,
you showed up to CryoHeat Thursday morning,
correct.
and my guy started the process for you.
Yep,
Of course, we're gonna charge you for
absolutely.
that.
We're expecting it. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that we do this for every customer,
right,
just because I don't want to make my guys freaking work
right.
7 days a week.
Yeah,
That's BS. But Kenny's like, yeah, dude, I'll man up and I'll take the task.
yeah,
And he was here uh, longer than regular hours on Friday. He was here on Saturday
yeah,
checking on the machine. Sunday,
yeah,
I think Sunday night again, and then early this morning,
yeah.
pulling your stuff out. And here it is Monday morning, and 80 hours of cryo heat processing, and then individually polishing two parts, like a 12 to 14 hour, like a 14-hour polish
Yeah,
job on each part.
part, yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive commitment, but I mean, um, I'll show some pictures on the green screen
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, four days later from when
yeah,
I showed up, the parts are
freaking
done,
pretty
right? It
awesome.
is. It's
Yeah,
amazing service from you guys.
thank
Absolutely.
you,
Through
thank
Easter
you.
weekend as well, right?
Yeah, Easter weekend. Yeah, I
Good
know.
Friday is a holiday, but
Yeah,
no, no, you guys step up to the plate,
yeah,
and it's
and here it
amazing.
is. Yeah, and some businesses are taking this day as a Monday
Right.
off, and we're like, nope.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing I do like about our program here at CryoHeat is just like not every holiday is going to be that holiday for our company.
Right.
You know, it's like we have employees where family is far away,
Yeah.
so getting to the family is a day of driving. So it's like, hey, let's take off a huge chunk, or maybe just for that one guy, or
Right.
for all of us, we just kind of like talk about like, hey, what days are we taking off? And I still give them 10 days a year of holidays, and then they get another 10 days of
Yeah.
personal time, and then I every once in a while just like, "Just get out of here."
That's important. It's important to have that, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same predicament. Like my next 90 days are my busiest time of the year. Like
Yeah.
from beginning of April to end of June, July is the 90. I don't take a day off usually. Like we're just busy. This is our busy
Working on
season,
the
right?
boats.
So, but in the winter, I'll take a month off or two
Yeah.
months off in a row, right?
That's
And
why I'll come
yeah,
out and we'll go snowboarding.
there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we really appreciate you guys, stepping up to the plate
Yeah,
for us and
awesome.
getting
Yeah.
this done. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I said, I take pride and my guys take pride, and it's about those business relations,
yeah,
and you know, now it's like one of the things that I enjoy is you've noticed we got TVs all over the place in
yeah.
here. So it's like when some of our racers are racing, and a lot of them, you know, the mini Starlinks.
Right. Yeah,
Hint, hint.
yeah, yeah,
I want your boat to have a mini Starlink
yeah.
and some GoPros
That's a good
because
idea. Yeah.
you guys need to have like your own little channel so we can get on it and watch live racing
Of what's
inside the
going on.
boat.
Yeah.
It'd be freaking awesome.
This year we'll have better coverage from the rate from so it's the World Championships in Canada this year.
Yeah,
Every fourth year it comes back to Canada. So it's Canada, the US, New Zealand, and Mexico for jet boat racing.
yeah.
And it's back in Canada. Next year it'll be back in the US again.
Okay.
So we'll have to get you to one of these races.
Yeah.
I think there's a race in Lewiston. I don't know if they're having it this year or not, but usually Lewiston has a race in August in Idaho. So
Okay.
not too far from
In August.
in August. Yeah.
If
It's
you
called Hot August Nights.
if you guys go, there's a really big possibility that myself, maybe some of my family, maybe one or a couple of these
Yeah,
guys here at the shop, it'd be really fun just to
yeah,
even close down business for a day or two
yeah,
and make that
yeah.
trip.
It'd be nice to have you guys at the event, and you can see,
Yeah,
see your
absolutely.
fruits of your product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
How many boats do you guys have usually showing up at some of these events?
so a weekend race, anywhere from 20, maybe 25 boats.
Okay.
The World Championships, you'll see up like in the past, up to 60 boats. We have 30 registered so far this year, and
Yeah,
it starts June 20th. So we'll probably see close to 40 boats. We're
yeah.
hoping. Yeah.
And most of them are piston.
Yeah, there's four classes of race boats. So there's an
Okay.
FX class, which uses a Chevy small block. You're limited to like they were a ZZ4, ZZ5, ZZ6 engine crate motor
Okay.
class. And then the next is a 6.2 liter LS3. That's the CX class. So everybody has to run a GM crate stock engine. You're not allowed to do anything to the engine, and it's all boat. And then there's a piston class, which is up to 600 cubic inch, which is kind of like an unlimited piston class.
Yeah.
There's a few rules, but not. If you want to go supercharge or turbocharge, you have to multiply your cubic inch by 1.8, so it brings you back down to like a 300-inch engine.
Yeah.
And then there's an unlimited class, which is 95% turbines now. So there's like 10 turbine boats active in that class, probably maybe 15 or so around the world. So
Yeah.
it's a small racing community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a huge
Very
thing.
niche
Yeah,
for sure.
it is. Yeah.
What's your fuel consumption like when you're racing? I know each river is going to be different.
So these engines now that the competitive guys are using are the latest engines out of so the C Knight's been decommissioned now. So
Mhm.
when they decommission those engines have 2,000 horsepower, and we can push them to about 2,200 safely. So that's like 175 gallons an hour at that level.
Yeah.
So they burn a ton of fuel. It's Jet A, so it's not like super expensive
Right.
fuel. It's just aviation kerosene, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys are on board with a lot of fuel when you start.
Yeah, 540 pounds of fuel we leave with.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
And that'll you're good for probably 40 minutes of runtime with
Yeah.
540 pounds.
And
Yeah,
so some people think, okay, you're racing on a river. I know because of phone conversations and some stories that you shared with me, like digitally. But what are some of the obstacles or like the water levels?
yeah.
Like what are you guys actually racing on sometimes? I've watched some videos and be like, holy crap, is that ankle deep?
Yeah, absolutely. Some places to get through, it gets down to ankle deep. Safely, you need a foot of water minimum.
Yeah.
If you're down to 6 inches, you might tag. You try not to run over anything because it damages the boat,
Yeah, of
damages
course.
the jet drives.
Yeah.
But the river is forever changing, so we usually like pre-run the river with a slower boat, and we take notes, just
Yep.
like rally racing, right? You
Yeah.
can see our trophy trucks. His navigator's got notes, right, and he's telling them, hard left coming up, whatever, how you, so we communicate the same way with notes, driver and navigator.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes you wake up in the morning and it's race day and you ran the day before and the river's dropped 3 feet or
Wow.
it's up 3 feet. So
Yeah.
now there might be a channel that wasn't there yesterday that's there today. So it might change quite rapidly, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be on your game at that speed. Things happen fast. These
Yeah.
boats are doing 150 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
So at that speed, things happen really fast.
Yeah.
It's funny how your brain starts thinking, and all of a sudden, like when you first take off and your heart's beating, the adrenaline, it takes you a few seconds, and then all of a sudden, okay, your brain kind of catches up, and that's normal speed. Things are going real fast, and you're
Yeah.
looking further out. But if something happens and you kind of get flustered, it takes a long time to get caught up again to your notes and relax to your brain to get back up to speed, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. You basically got to plug in straight into the ECU.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Become the boat.
you do absolutely. It just kind of
Yeah,
zooms by, and you're making decisions, and it happens fast. But
that's
yeah,
rad.
it's a pretty wild sport.
And so something else that you're saying that was pretty wild to me, and I was like, man, that's the part that I'd love to see. So like the Idaho thing, that part of the river has class what size rapids?
Yeah, some like so Riggins just had a race on the weekend. Riggins, Idaho.
Yeah,
It's on the Salmon River. That's the wildest river of all the circuits, and I'm sure it's a class one or class. I don't know
yeah,
exactly what the classification is, 3 or 4 for sure.
yeah.
But waves bigger than the boat, right? So you're banging, and you're not going through there at 100 miles
Well,
an
of
hour,
course not.
but you're slowing down,
But
and that's part of the
you're in
circuit.
a high speed jet boat,
Absolutely.
nose up,
Yeah.
power on,
Yeah.
going upstairs.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sunk a boat in 2018 in some rapids in Peace River, where I'm from. Just going a little too fast through the rapids, took a bad bounce, and the boat flipped upside down and
Oh,
gone.
wow.
Away we went.
And you guys are obviously harnessed in.
We're harnessed in. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got full point. You're in a roll cage
Yeah.
built inside the boat. We at the time we didn't have supplied air, but now we race with supplied air. Not everybody. It's not
Yeah.
enforced. Like it's not a recommendation or it's not
Yeah.
a rule. But there's a few guys now that are starting to see the benefits of supplied air. So we run a pack, and it's like a 5-minute emergency bottle. So you have a
Yeah.
little ball on your lap and with a mask, and the helmets
Yeah.
are made in by a company called Tiger Performance, and they make helmets for like tons of helicopter, Marines. It's basically Coast Guard helmets, right? So the same thing. If the
Yeah.
helicopter goes down, they got 5 minutes, and at least you can get to the surface.
You
of
can
the
get it
water.
in with your helmet still on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, they're
Cool.
fighter style inside your helmet, and
Okay.
if it gets submerged in water, then the valve turns on, and you got 5 minutes of air. So
Oh, it automatically turns
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
yeah, pretty cool technology.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gives you that added, safety feature. This year on the boat, we're adding another set of, safety features. I guess where they're making these. They're like a cassette, they call it, but it's a pack that maybe an inch thick by 6 wide by 2 feet tall, and it'll lift 500 pounds, and they auto deploy. So it's got a bag in there basically, and if they gets wet, if it's submerged for more than 3 seconds, it deploys, and then these bags float, right? So in the event that you're unconscious
Yeah.
after a crash, the boat will right itself
wow.
and stay at the surface, right?
Yeah.
Because the boat we lost in 2018, we never did find it. So had one of us not be able to get out, we'd still be at the bottom of the river, right? So that
Yeah.
goes through your mind, and you think, okay, what can we
Yeah.
do to make this safer,
Well,
right?
yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys never found the boat.
No, we have a piece of the boat that like so this river freezes every year, and usually the ice is fairly thick, and it must have grabbed a piece of the boat. So one of the pieces of the windshield was found maybe a mile downriver 2 years later. But to this day, we know where it is because the next day we went back with another boat to find it, and you could smell fuel coming out still. So
Yeah.
fuel was slowly coming out of the vents,
Yeah.
and so we knew about where it was, and it hadn't moved very far from where we sunk. And but we just can't. The rapid is too wild to
Too
make. You'd
gnarly.
have to dam the river to get this thing out of there, right? So
Yeah.
what do you do? It's impossible to get divers down into a rapid.
Oh yeah.
I built an anchor, like a big fish hook, out of 1 inch solid steel, like 4 feet tall, thinking, okay, we'll hook onto it, right? And then you pull it to
Yeah.
shore and try to get out. I got 100 feet of rope behind the boat. You couldn't sink the hook.
Wow.
The
Because the
water
water's moving
just
so
the
fast,
water's holding the hook straight out. It will
and it
not
was a
sink.
solid steel hook.
Solid 1 inch stock, 4 feet long with 3 hooks. It just looked like a big jackfish hook. It would not sink that hook.
Wow.
So how do
Yeah.
you get down there, right? Pretty
Exactly.
tough.
Yeah. And if it does get down there, it's pinned.
Yeah, so that's likely what happened. This
Yeah.
boat's up against some rocks. The current's just holding it tight there, and
Yeah.
the weight's gonna stay.
Maybe in 5 more years, somebody else will see another piece.
You never know. It's possible.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting, and I hope that some of our Desert Rat viewers will
Yeah.
get onto this. Do you guys have any links that be able to see or anything that
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, Jet Boat Racing Canada. Our website has links to a bunch of social media videos. We're just kind of starting to grow the
Okay, good.
multimedia stuff.
Yeah.
This year is going to be a lot bigger. We're going to have some live feeds on Facebook and some interviews and some daily video kind of like shorts of the events of the day.
Yeah.
So it should be a lot better. But yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Jet Boat Racing Canada.
Jet Boat Racing Canada.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
I'll have make sure the guys put a link on the
Oh, cool.
on the end of this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of our videos, and I'll bring it up and I'll show it to you after this. But some of our videos are so we're working with Travel Alberta, which is like the tourism company trying to promote people to come to Alberta.
Yeah.
And our page is one of the most visited page on their website
Of course it is.
from this one clip. That
Yeah.
This guy went, so
Yeah,
it's
of
pretty
course it
cool.
is. Yep. Yep.
So it helps us get money from them. We're like any organization, right?
Jet boat racing, hunting, and snowboarding.
There you go.
That's what Alberta is for.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and oil.
Yeah, some oil too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Right on.
It's a pleasure to hang out with you today. I think I have a good place in mind for us to go have lunch,
Okay.
and then I'm going to take you to the airport so you don't have to deal with
I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Ubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with me living in Dana Point, it's like I've sacrificed a lot. I meet customers at my doorstep sometimes
Okay.
because they're traffic, and it just it's the extra things that I guess I do, and
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't think of it why not do it,
Okay.
But yeah, man, what you guys do, and the work that you do at your shop, and some of the photos that you've sent me, man, these boats are so sexy.
Yeah.
The little wings in the front to
Yeah.
control where you want your bow to ride, or the bow of the boat to ride, and there's all this stuff. And I'm just thinking like Colorado Lower River, like if I can show up with a turbine engine down at like Fisher's and pull 170 miles an hour with a turbine engine,
Yeah.
that would be freaking
That'd be
awesome.
wild, yeah.
Yeah, I mean our river down where most of us go to, we call it the Colorado River, but
Right.
it's Arizona, dividing Arizona and California, and it is like, man, during the hot part of the summer, it is hour and a half old bath water,
Okay.
if that.
Right.
The water is 80 something degrees, the temperature is 120, which is great because it keeps everybody in the water longer. But it's our little paradise of having fun,
Nice.
from back in the day of being like 10 years old on jet skis chasing
Yeah.
ducks in the Tules. Back in the day when there were no rules,
Right.
when America was even better. But yeah, it's just the water sports are freaking always a good second part of my heart. I love
Right.
it, and then the turbine engines in a boat,
Yeah. We'll have to
it's
get you to a
awesome.
race for sure.
Yeah,
You'd love
definitely
it.
gonna go.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, it's a pleasure doing this little podcast
Yeah.
with you,
Thank you
and
very much for having
and
me.
I really hope that, yeah, absolutely. And I hope that a lot of people enjoyed it enough to be able to like go in those links and
Yeah,
actually search
promote the sport. Yeah, we
and
appreciate
promote
it.
the sport.
Yeah,
It's like I I think that they're like, again, Colorado River. I mean, how cool would it be
yeah,
to have from like the lower part of the river all the way to Blythe? It's like make that a race.
yeah.
You would easily have sections where if the boat could do it, you would be going 200 miles an hour.
It's been harder and harder over the years, but the U.S. used to be really popular. Northern California, so Gold Beach, on the Rogue, on the Payette, on
Mm,
they race on the Salmon, they race on the Snake, but mostly like Idaho, Washington,
yeah,
Oregon, and Northern California, where the races were. But there's tons of history of boat racing here in the
yeah,
U.S. and there's tons of jet boaters here in California,
right,
like drag racers, not as much as river racers, but it's still jet boats, right? So
yeah,
I think that the market's there. People just don't know about it. So
yeah,
yeah, you
exactly,
get the idea out there and get to see some of the wild rides that people are on, and people are excited. People always love watching that, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
awesome. Well, hope you guys will watch Felix and all of his buddies doing the boat racing and stuff like that. Just tune in to their Facebook page,
yep,
and yeah, I don't want to be a promoter, but I want to promote what they're doing for sure, and I think it's amazing. And I'm glad that you're a customer, and I'm glad that you've become a friend,
yeah, absolutely,
and I will be visiting you probably next winter
nice.
if you guys get good snow.
Yeah, absolutely, love to have you up
Yeah,
there.
cool.
Yeah,
Right on. Well, let's
thanks,
go get
Josh.
some lunch.
Sounds good.
Awesome.